Good day, student. It's nice to be with you again. I use this opportunity to welcome all of you to Iol Institute for Open Learning, the best institute for distance education on earth. My name is Edo Triumph, the contact tutor for computer literacy. I welcome you once again to IOL. At IOL, we might not be the first, but the best when you talk about distance education. At IOL, we teach others to copy. You're welcome to this presentation. Sit down, relax, while Edu, your tutor, takes you through this presentation. Which presentation are we having today? It is examination-based presentation for 2019. Examination-based presentation for 2019. Before I commence the presentation, I want to congratulate all of you that passed the assignment. Good job. I'm proud of you. So for you to have passed your assignment, it means you have worked diligently to pass the assignment. Congratulations, but that is not the end. It is not over until it is over. So, let me prepare you for the examination so that you can become victorious at the end of the examination. Some people have the concept or the belief that computer literacy is quite a little bit difficult. But my beloved student, I must tell you, computer literacy is very easy. As I used to tell my student, computer literacy is as easy as eating kapana. Nah. Good. Now, the first presentation I'm going to give to you here, this presentation is for who? Diploma in Junior Primary Education and Diploma in Secondary Education. This presentation is for Diploma in Junior Primary Education, DJPE Cl11, and Diploma in Secondary Education, DSE Cl12. Why am I mentioning this program is for this? Why? Computer literacy is a compulsory subject for all students of IOL, irrespective of what course you take. So I don't want you to be confused when it is time for you to download the presentation and say which computer literacy is for me, which one is not for me. Pay attention to this page. Whose presentation is this? Oh, this presentation is meant for who? Let's continue. This presentation is for April examination, August examination, and November examination, 2019. So what does that mean? It means that we are not going to have a different presentation apart from this one. So this presentation covers the 3 examinations that takes place comes 2019. So if you are going to write your examination in April, you are going to write your examination in August, or you are going to write a supplementary examination in November, the same presentation will guide you. Okay, so don't ask for any other presentation except this one that has been given to you. All right, it is time for examination. Are you ready? Or are you having kind of a fever? It's time of examination. Remember, when it is time for examination, people become afraid. You have examination fever. Why are you afraid? Why is that examination fever? Come on, wake up. I'll guide you. Don't get worried about whether you're going to fail or pass. You're not going to fail, you're going to pass. The terms and conditions apply. This presentation is not examination scope, but a guide. What is Mr. Edo telling you is this? The presentation that you are listening to now is not a scope. I'm not here to tell you the topics that you must read, or the section that you must read. Your examination covers the entire module. So this is not a scope. We don't give scope at Iol. We guide you. So this is a guide, examination guide, not a scope. Okay? Good. What will be required of you when you get your examination question paper? You'll be required to answer all the questions in that question paper. But for you to answer all the questions very well, I want you to review what is in your study guide, the following examination terms or phrases. Here I brought the study guide. I brought a study guide from home to show you. Here is your study guide. And I'm sure you all have the study guide, either in hard copies or in an electronic format, copies, soft copies. Irrespective of whatever form you have the study guide, please, my dear brothers and sisters, if you open to a study guide, it's going to be our Bible. So I'm going to be the pastor here. So I'm going to read first from the book of Exodus. Okay, if you look at your study guide, page 9 of your study guide, there you will see meaning, thinking required. That is, meaning of examination words. The different types of examination terms that are in your study guide. This is something that students kind of ignore. They don't consider it necessary, but little things that you consider not necessary work against you when it comes to the examination. On that page 9, what is it that is there that I really want you to pay attention to as you prepare for your examination? Here it is. They are called examination words. For example, if you see a question that say define, for example, I say define computer virus, or I put it this way, explain computer virus. The same question, I can put it again this way, discuss computer virus. Can you see? I've used different verbs here. Define computer virus, explain computer virus, discuss computer virus. But what I expect from you with different verbs differs. When I say define, what do I expect from you? It's different from when I say explain. It is different when I say discuss. That is why I said you should go back to page 9 of your study guide and read, familiarize yourself with all these examination terms so that you will know what they mean and how to apply them when you see them in a question. Do not ignore it. Okay, let's continue. As I said before now, the examination covers the entire unit in the module. What does that mean? No unit will be exempted. The question is selected across all the units. Let's go back to the study guide again. I intentionally brought the study guide today so that it will be a Bible in our discussion. So just relax and listen to me. Nah, don't worry. Okay, if you look at your study guide here, if you look at your study guide that I have here, you will see Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3. So there are units in this study guide. In this study guide, I have 6 units. 6 units in this study guide with different expected learning outcome. So your question covers from Unit 1 to the last unit. Now the danger is this. What is the danger? If you study or if you read only Unit 1 and question come from Unit 4, then you're going to have problems. So don't overlook any unit. make sure you read the study guide from where? From Genesis to Revelation. From the beginning to the end. Make sure you cover the entire study guide. Do not, I repeat, overlook, undermine any concept or unit. What else that you must do if really you want to pass? You see the assignment that I gave to you for 2019. The assignment serves so many purposes. One of the purposes that the assignment serves is this. The assignment prepares you for the examination. So it goes beyond just having an assignment. Because you are distance learning students. We don't see you every day. We don't have one-on-one contact with you. So the examination and the assignment that is given to you is having the same format with the examination. In other words, the assignment prepares you for the examination. So what should you do, my sister? What should you do, Selma? What should you do, Lucas? Those are some of the names I can remember, although I have not met you one-on-one. Take that assignment and go through the questions again. When I mark your assignment, I wrote some comments there. Read those comments and see what you did wrong and my suggestions and recommendations so that you don't repeat those mistakes when it comes to examination. If you look at your assignment again, the assignment was divided into two sections. The assignment I gave to you, there was practical section, that is section B, and you have the section A, which was theoretical. Now, when it comes to the examination of computer literacy, there is not going to be practicals in real sense. What do I mean is this. You are not going to work on the computer during the examination. That is, during the examination, I'm not going to give you a computer to work on, but I'm going to examine the practical skills that you already acquired during the assignment. What does that mean? For me to examine the practical skills that you already acquired during the assignment. Let me give you an example. The assignment that I gave to you asks you to print out the assignments, to print out your answers. So one of the things I want you to learn during the assignment is to learn how to print. Because if you look at your expected learning outcome in your course outline, it is clearly stated there that the student at the end of this course or this module should be able to print a document. So I gave you an assignment and I asked you to print it out. Now in the examination, although I'm not going to ask you to print during the examination, but I can ask you to explain to me how to print a document. So what am I doing? I'm testing, I'm examining the practical knowledge, the practical skills that you already acquired during the assignments. That is why it is always very dangerous and risky if you are not practically involved in the doing of your assignment. It baffles me at times when I mark the examination where you see a student who scored 99 in the assignment but scored 10 in the examination. So you begin to wonder. You wonder, is it the same person? Because the questions are almost the same thing, the same format. Although not word for word, but the same format. So before I leave this slide, what Edu is trying to tell you here is your assignment is very important. Go through it, both the theoretical aspect as well as the practical aspects. Are you there? Good. Let's continue this presentation. What else can be or will be of good help to you? Go into your student portal of Iol and download past examination question papers. Of what benefit is that to you? Past examination question papers. You see, in Africa we have so many proverbs. At times they say the devil you know at times is always better than the angel you don't know. Well, I don't know if it is true, but at times they say that when you know what is wrong with you, as in you are sick and you know what is wrong with you, the problem is halfway solved. The past examination question papers are there for you to download. There you know already, if you are able to download them, the format of how the question looks like. Your question might not be exactly the way it is in previous examination question, but the format remains. Remember one thing, the course outline has not changed. So the expected learning outcome has not changed. So what Mr. Edo is trying to say is this. Let's say the course outline being used in 2015, 2016, 2017 says computer virus, Microsoft Word. If the topics are still the same, then it means that the question will still be around those past question paper, formulated in different ways. So download past question examination paper and go through them and see how questions are being asked. It's a secret that I revealed to you. But don't tell IOL that I told you. But one thing I will not do is for you to download a past question paper, email me the past question paper, and ask me to answer the question paper and send to you. Don't examine me. I'm the one to examine you. So I've seen students who have done things like that. They downloaded a particular past question. Let's say they downloaded April examination 2015. Then they email it to me. Mr. Edo, can you answer this question and send it back to me so that I can know what to do? You want to examine me? No, it shouldn't be so. What will you do with the past question exam paper? Go through the question paper and see how questions are asked. While going through the question paper, there are questions that will not be clear to you, then call me or SMS me or send me a call request. IOL student, I will call you. If you don't have airtime, it's not a problem. Send me a call request showing IOL student. I will call you and explain to you how to go about the question. But don't send the question for me to start writing the answers and send to you. No, it's not going to help you. What else should you focus on or will help you while preparing for this examination? There's what we call the tutor feedback. Every time a tutor is done marking his or her examination question papers as well as assignment, we always write a feedback that is always sent or given to the student. A feedback enables a student to see what she has done wrong, and a feedback also has suggestions or recommendations from the tutor. So if I mark an assignment, while marking my assignment or while marking my examination question paper, when I come across mistakes made by students, I always summarize them down. As I'm marking, I write them down. At the end of the marking, I compile all the errors that I observed, all the mistakes that were made by students. Then I make a recommendation. Of what purpose will it serve you? Now, learn from others' mistakes. Can you see that now? Learn from others' mistakes. So if you download the tutor's feedback, you will see some of the mistakes that previous students made that made them to fail, and I want you to avoid such mistakes. So don't ignore the feedback. It is very, very necessary. The next thing that I'm going to talk to you about when it comes to the preparation of your examination is this. When do you start to prepare for your examination? Now. Now. Today. For tomorrow might be too late. You see, there are students that always wait 48 hours, 24 hours before they start preparation. Then, what is the result of that? You start to panic. You start to panic. Then you call Mr. Edu. This book is too big. This study guide is too big. I don't understand this. I don't understand it. Don't start your preparation too late. Start as soon as you receive your assignment and you are already qualified for the examination. Please start to prepare for your examination immediately. Don't wait for tomorrow. It might be too late. Let's go a little bit more deeper into computer literacy DJPE Cl12 now. 11 rather. In your question paper, there will be multiple choice. There will be multiple choice. Basically, there will be 15 multiple choice questions. The multiple choice covers everything from beginning to the end. 15 of them. Now, when you read multiple choice questions, you need to be a little bit careful because the options A to D might be similar. So read carefully before you choose an option. If you choose an option and you decide to change your mind, please cancel that option. Don't give me two options. If you do give me two options, then it becomes invalid. Okay? So there will be multiple choice, 15 questions for you to pick from. What next will you see? Remember, this is a guide, examination-based guide. It's not a scope. So I'm not giving you any specific topic or anything to read. I'm just bringing out one or two things. Are you happy? Be happy. Okay? Be happy. You will pass. But terms and conditions apply. What are those terms and conditions? Listen to what I tell you. The Bible made it very clear. Happy are those who listen to him and they do as they were told. If you look at our study guide, there are so many computer terminologies used. For example, hardware, software, CPU. If you look at that word CPU, can you observe that that word CPU is written in capital letter? The C, the P, the U is written in capital letter. It means it's not a word on its own. It's an acronym, meaning the C stands for something, the P stands for something, while the U stands for something. So if I ask you to define CPU or explain CPU, first of all, what should you do? First of all, tell me the full meaning of that acronym. Tell me CPU stands for Central Processing Units. After you must have told me the meaning of that acronym, then explain it. Tell me the function, if possible, the component it has. Then you can have your full marks. We have things like information, copyright, processor clock, ROM and RAM, mainframe computer, supercomputer, computer virus. These are different types of computer terms that we use on a daily basis when you walk around computer. I will ask you about 5 different terms for you to define, selected across the study guide. At times, the question might be, explain the following computer terms. At times, it might be, define the following computer terms. Please, know when to define and how to define. And you should know how to explain when it comes to explanation. And when it is for you to explain or to define these computer terms, please don't define them from the English language perspective. What am I trying to say here? Don't define them using dictionary words. These are technical professional words. For example, if a medical doctor tells you, I'm on call, you see, and Mr. Ido tell you, I'm on call, we are using a word for different meaning. So if a medical doctor says, I'm on call, it means his attention is needed at the clinic or at the hospital immediately. Then he quickly goes there. But if I tell you I'm on call, as a layman from the English perspective, it might be I'm receiving a call. So when you give your definition, when you give your explanation, define them, explain them in relation to computing environment. In relating to computing environment. Let me give you another example. If I say, explain to me virus, computer virus, we are not talking about the biological virus here. Because from experience in marking of student script, since I've been a teacher since 1999, it's been a long time I've been in the classroom. So don't say that small boy, I'm not a small boy. Nah. Listen here. If you say, explain computer virus, I've seen students who told me computer virus is a disease of the computer. Aye, Kako. Can you see now? Because they are trying to define computer virus from that word virus, biologically speaking. Probably they've heard that from their biology teacher or their agriculture teacher. But we are looking at a different thing here. So define your words, your terminology in relation to computing environments. For example, again we say supercomputer. You know, when we were young, we used to watch a cartoons called Superman. I'm sure your kids do it at times, né? You see your child playing as well, I'm a Superman. Don't define it like English word, super. I know the word super is used, okay? So I've marked a script where a student told me a supercomputer is a strong computer. It can fly anywhere. You know, marking at times is very interesting because at times it's comedy. You laugh at times reading the script of some students, how they try to define this. As funny as it is, it's not funny because it makes you fail. So avoid it. Comma. Okay, good. I don't know what it's called, comma, I don't know. But it's a word I use at times. Okay, all right, let's continue. What are further questions will you see? You're going to see more detailed question that will make you to explain in more details. Let me give you an example. How to approach some of these questions. Look at the question that is on the screen. It's not really a question, but it's a comment versus question. If I say discuss or evaluate, whichever examination verbs that I use, discuss, evaluate the impact of computer usage, one, in our society or in education. This is a question that is always coming up, but students still fail it. Not that they don't really know in some cases, they do know, but the way they answer the questions means or shows that they don't really know how to answer the question. So let's break it down a little bit here. Discuss the impact of computer usage in our society. Let's look at the key words in that question. One, you are going to discuss. It's not going to define. You are going to discuss. So go back to your study guide and find what it means to discuss. Then we say the impact of computer. If we say impact, an impact can be positive, it can be negative. For instance, you say, what is the impact of alcohol? Okay, what is the impact, for example? So if you use that word impact, it can be a negative impact, it can be a positive impact. So if I say, discuss the impact of computer usage, you are free here to discuss positive points, you are also free to discuss negative point. But the question continues, the impact of computer usage in our society. Our society, anywhere in the society, be in the banking sector, the educational sector, the entertainment sector, anywhere in the society that you think computer can be used and what impact it has on that sector, you are free to discuss it. But the question is this again, discuss impact of computer usage in education. Here it is a specific question in education. So if your question says the impact of computer usage in education, don't tell me anything that has to do with banking. I can use it to transfer money. It has nothing to do with education. So try and read the question very well. In our society, anywhere is fine. In education, specifically within the boundaries of education, or the sector called education. If a question says the advantages, talk about only the good aspect of that. If it talks about the disadvantages, talk about only the bad aspect of that. But if it says the impact, talk about both the good and the bad. Even at times I ask questions, what are the advantages of computer in our society? You see students telling me, say something like, it makes you to lose your job. Is losing your job an advantage? Come on, man. My dear student, read your answers at times. Is losing your job an advantage? If there is something that makes you to lose your job, how do you consider that to be an advantage? It's a disadvantage. If with the use of computers, people can hack your credit card and your bank details, is that an advantage? It's a disadvantage. So you should read your answer yourself also and see, is this an advantage or a disadvantage before you submit that script? Another thing that is already always common when it comes to this question, because most time this question goes with 3 marks. At most of the time I ask for 3 points. Each point you give to me is 3 marks. How does it go? If you tell me, for example, computer can be used in banking, I give you 1 mark. Now, you explaining to me how computer can be used in banking, your explanation, your discussion gives you 2 marks. Up together 3. So, but if you just tell me computer can be used in bank, can be used at school, can be used for entertainment, you get only 3 marks out of the 9 marks. So, what you should do for you to earn your full mark is mention the fact, the point, and explain it, give an example, and if possible, an illustration. So don't just give me 1 or 2 lines, then you expect to have 3 marks. It doesn't work like that. Okay, let's continue with this discussion now. Let us look at the advantages and disadvantages of the use of internet. The approach to this question is similar to the one I just discussed now. But this question is also specific. That is why I underline use of internet. I'm not talking about computer here. You might have a computer, but your computer might not be connected to the internet. So I've also seen students that submit answer script where we say advantages, discuss the advantages of the use of internet, then they are giving you the advantages of the use of computer. I can have a computer, but that computer might not be connected to the internet. So this is a specific question, the use of internet. What advantages does it give to you? And at times the question might be a specific question again that says the advantages of internet in education. Can you say that now? The advantages of internet in education. So if you give me an advantage of internet and I look at that advantage, that it has nothing, it has no relationship with education, then you are wrong, my friend. Again, pay attention to when we say advantages and disadvantages. Are you there? Put on a smile. Why do I say you should smile? Because this is 2019. It's a great year. You will pass. Tell your neighbor, I will pass. I will pass computer literacy. So relax. Don't be worried. Nah? Don't be worried. You already passed. The terms and conditions apply. And what are those terms and conditions? You must study, work for it, and pass. It is not free. It must be earned. But it's as simple as eating kapana. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's look at this aspect of the questions again. There are times we expect you to draw one or two diagrams. Okay? So when you see diagrams in your study guide, do not overlook those diagrams, please. As a belief. Let me try and speak a little bit of Afrikaans here. As a belief. Do not overlook the diagram. Practice the drawing of those diagrams. Try and draw. Try and draw. Practice them, those diagrams that you have. Now, a question can go as this. With the use of a diagram, explain the following. Using a diagram, explain this process. Can you see those questions? With the use of a diagram, explain the following. With the use of a diagram, explain this process. What is expected of you here when you see such a question? Number one, you must draw the diagram. Draw the diagram, label the diagram. To label means you must tell me the name of all the components in that diagram and explain all the components in that diagram. Then something again which I must caution you here is this. If you look at your study guide, I wish I can quickly get it here in your study guide. I want to show you a diagram. I intentionally brought the study guide here so that you don't say, Mr. Edo, where did you get this diagram? It is in your study guide, the Bible. Can you see this diagram here? Can you see that diagram? Can you see it now? Good. This diagram explains the main component of a computer system. Can you see that now? This diagram explains the main components of a computer system. This is on page 29. The main component of a computer system. So if I give you a question that says, with the use of a diagram, with the aid of a diagram, explain a computer system. I'm not asking you to draw me a monitor, a keyboard, a CPU, a printer, a speaker. No. Just the diagram that represents the computer system, it is there in your study guide. So you draw it and label it and explain all the components there are in that diagram. Practice it. Don't come and practice in the examination hall. Do you understand? Yes. And to answer for you, yes, because even if you say yes, I'm not going to hear you. That's why I say, do you understand? Yes. That's what you do in classroom. You're also a teacher also, or a teacher to be. All right. Let me give you additional reading points that you can also focus on. But remember, this is not a scope. So don't call me after the examination and say, Mr. Edu, we saw a question that is not in your presentation. A presentation is not a scope, but a guide. Okay. The use of smartboard in teaching and learning process. Do you know what is called a smartboard? Not necessary for you to have used it, but what advantage does it give in education when a teacher makes use of a smartboard? It's a topic in Unit 1. Computer network and types. There are different types of computer network. If you look at your study guide, you have the local area network, the wide area network, the metropolitan area network. Can you explain them? We have different types of operating systems, like multitasking, multiprocessing, real-time system. Can you explain and define them with examples? Something else which I also want you to, in addition to what I have said, I want you to also pay attention to is this. health problems that can result from the frequent use of computers and how to avoid such problems. There is one question that is always, most of the time, in our question papers. If I ask you a question, identify and discuss health problems that can result from the frequent use of the computer, and suggest or recommend solutions on how to manage or avoid those problems. How do you approach the answers? Number one, identify those problems first. What the question is basically saying is that if you use computer all the time, you are always in front of computer, there are some health problems that will affect you. One of them that Mr. Edo probably might be suffering from today is the eyes. I have been in front of the computer since 1999 looking at the screen. So it's already more of one way or the other affected my eyes. That is a problem. How can it be avoided? Tell me now in the examination. What about the backbone here? If you're always working on the computer, remember, you are always, most of the time, like this. So there is that tendency that you have a pain at the back. What can you do to avoid that problem? Solution. At times you have pains here when you work on a computer. There, you see that now? You have pains here because you are always typing. You are always typing. What can be done to manage or to avoid that problem? So whenever you see that question, first of all, identify the problems. After identifying the problems, tell us the solution on how to manage them. And don't mix them up. That is something that I almost forget to say. Do not always mix up your points, so that the examiner tries to figure out what is this person saying. Both your problems and solutions are mixed up together. No. Mention the problems, then the solution. Number one, eye problem. Discuss it, then solution to the eye problem. Discuss it. Try and separate your point. Don't mix them up for me to separate for you. No. It will not help you in your examination. Additionally, the point, there are different categories of computers. We can classify a computer into different categories based on what? What are the criteria that can be used to classify computers? We can classify computers using power, the speed, and how expensive that is the cost. What are those categories or classes of computers? Can you get them from your study guide? Your study guides. Don't avoid these study guides. God told the Israelites through Joshua, this book of the law, you must read every day in an ordered tone. When you lie down, when you walk on the street, anywhere you are. That's what God told the Israelites if they want to be successful in life. If you want to pass computer literacy, read this book. Now, to classify computers, you have the supercomputers, you have the mainframe computers, you have the microcomputers, and other classes you can talk about. It's only if you read, you study, that you will understand what I am talking about. Let's leave the theoretical section now. The theoretical section that I have discussed most of the time are Unit 1, 2, and so forth. Let's go a little bit to the practical section. As I told you in my introduction of this presentation, I made it very clear to you that I'm going to examine you on the practical skills that you've acquired while having your assignments. For example, the use of computer. Can you explain to me how to switch off a computer? How to shut down a computer? How do you create a folder? How do you save a document? How do you print a document? How do you check spellings, wrong spellings, and grammar when a document is prepared? these are things that you have done in your assignment, then it is time for Edo to ask you to explain, to discuss, to outline how they can be done. Are you happy? Smile. If you don't know how to smile, just say what I'm about to say. Just say, Mushin. Can you see how it goes? Just tell your friend, Mushin. Then you are better because you will pass. But remember what I told you? To pass, terms and conditions apply. And what are those conditions? Read, study in advance. So you relax, start on time. If I were you, I have 6 units here. Ne? I have 6 units in my study guide. I can decide to take 1 unit a month. When I know I have about 6-7 months before my examination, there is no way I will read 1 unit per month that I will not understand that unit. So when it is 1 week, 2 days before my examination, it will just be a revision. Then I can come out with the A star. You understand? Good. What next should you expect? I'm going to examine you also on Microsoft Word, the different features of Microsoft Word. You know how to bold a document, to bold a word, to underline a word. What does it mean if you are using the mouse and we say double click and you just click? If I click on the mouse, what does it mean? What difference is there between click and double click? When do I double click? These are practical things that I will ask you. So prepare for me this year. Okay? Practical. So, what about cut and paste? This is something else again. What is the difference between cut and paste and copy and paste? What about save as and save? Have you noticed that when you try to save your document, if you go into File menu, you will see Save. Then you equally see Save As. Save As. What is the difference between these two? What about close and exit? What about cut and paste? Copy and paste? Do they sound familiar? If I were you, I would go to the computer now, when I'm done listening to the presentation, and practice on the computer to see how these concepts work separately. Okay. Before I move to the last segment of this presentation, I want to make something clear again. Computer literacy is divided into 2 in line with the new curriculum of Namibia. Remember, we have a new curriculum being implemented now. In the new curriculum, we have computers literacy being divided into 2. The first aspect is computer. The second aspect is library science, what we used to have as a BIS, Business Information Science. So we have the computer science of it, the computer studies of it, and the library aspect of it. If you look at your course outline, it has a ratio of 80 to 20. So if you look at my questions, you will see that 80% of the question is computer literacy. 20% of the question is library science. That is the way you have it in your study guide. So the second segment and the last segment I'm going to discuss now focuses on the library science of your study guide. In your study guide, Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4, okay, focuses on computer literacy. Now, when you come to Unit 5, Unit 6, Unit 4, Unit 5, Unit 6, is all about the library science. And have equally noticed that students try to ignore these 3 units. 4, 5, 6, they try to ignore these 3 units. Oh, it is not a computer. It's not computer. No, let me ignore it. It's part of what we are expected to learn. Now, let us look at what should you expect from that area. It's 20% of your total marks. For example, if you go to the library, have you seen what is called a catalog? What is it all about? Will you find that from your study guide? Now, if you come to the library also, we have what is called fiction books and non-fiction books. Can you give me examples of fiction books and non-fiction books? That you must read. There is this word that is very common, and it was used this year in most of the primary and secondary school, which is called readathon. Readathon. Readathon is a system whereby the learners are told to read books as fun, but at the same time, learning how to read. So if I ask you to explain what is a readathon and what advantages does it give to the learner, you should be able to explain that to me. Then there's this thing we call, again, periodical newspaper or magazines or journals. When something is periodical, it means basically not every day. If you look at the Namibian newspaper, you buy it every day. It's published every day, except public holidays and weekends. Those are not periodical. But if you look at something like Informate newspaper, it is published once a week. It's periodical, once a week. So there are magazines, there are newspapers, there are journals that are published not every day, maybe once a week, once a month, once in 3 months, once in a year. It depends on the situation. Those are periodical newspaper or magazines or journals. Can you give me your examples? Should I, in case I ask you, will you read more about it from your studied guide? There are other things in this segment of library concepts. Copyright. What is copyright? Every book you buy, you will see somewhere a C. That C will be circled. Copyright. What is copyright? Will you find out? Read more about it. I want you to also pay attention to something like this. The difference between encyclopedia and a dictionary. I asked this question, I think it was 2016, I can't remember. The difference between a dictionary and encyclopedia. There is a big difference between a dictionary and encyclopedia. I equally want you to read about it. This is not a content-based presentation. Had it been, it is a content-based presentation, I could have explained and teach you everything that is here. But today, I'm just here to guide you on your examination. So you don't expect me to explain everything in this slide presentation to you. My beloved students, Edo loves you very much, all of you. But listen, your preparation starts today, not tomorrow. Start the preparation from today. Whether it is April examination, August examination, or November examination. And remember, this is the only presentation that covers 2019. Don't wait until it is too late before you start. Go through the presentation that I have given to you. Listen to it over and over and over again. But remember, a presentation is not a replacement for your study guide. So don't ignore the study guide and focus only on the presentation. Revise your assignment, review everything, And more importantly, Edo is there for you. I'm there to guide you. I'm being paid to guide you. So, contact me on my number 081 480 4091. Maybe you can also email me. I will reply you. If you contact me and you don't get any reply, please contact me again. But I assured you I will reply you. Even if you don't have airtime, give me a call request showing an IOL student. I will call you and guide you. I prefer you calling me after work as from 5:30. I prefer that time so that I can have enough time to guide you. I wish you all the best in your April examination, August examination, and November examination. But in case you write an examination and you did not meet up the I don't want to use the word fail. If you fail to meet up to 50 marks in your examination, don't give up. Winners don't quit. Try again. The next time, you will make it. I wish you all the best in your examination. Thank you.